Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and today we're taking a look at issue 2, page 16 of my comic, whatever it was called, I don't remember, doesn't matter. Let's talk a little bit more about that Blood Force, though. That sounded magical. Hello, friends. Welcome to Blood Force. So this is Blood Force. Blood Force is a comic book that I write and draw. It is both a celebration and a parody of 90s extreme comics, and it is full of crazy stuff like this, and the action is only getting better with every page. And in order to read Blood Force, all you have to do is open the description below, click the link, go to my Patreon, and subscribe there. By subscribing on my Patreon, not only do you get access to the Blood Force comic, all of it in its entirety, you also get access to every video that I make before I post it to YouTube, usually about a week or two in advance, as well as the pre-Blood Force stuff. So we're talking about the sketches I made coming up with Blood Force, as well as a couple of projects I worked on before I did Blood Force. All this for just $3 American. You cannot get Arm Blades and Vengeance for a better price. So subscribe today, let's get Blood Force out on those shelves, and let's give the world the comics it deserves. Alright, so sorry, I gotta switch these up somehow. So yeah, we're on page 16 now. This was one of the ones that was done mostly on live stream, or largely anyway, because there's a difference between largely and mostly. Didn't you know that? I did. And this is one of the easier pages, I would say, that I have. Actually, there's a lot of easy pages left. One of the good things about doing this in sequence, combined with how I write scripts, is that apparently I tend to write all the difficult, boring stuff up front, because that's how you lure an audience in, you know. Is just do a lot of talking and standing around in like hangars and offices and quarters. Focus. Thank you. And yeah, and then once you've driven off the casuals, that's when you let them have the fighting, you know. But this is how Eric Larson makes comics, you know. It must be successful. Actually, I believe it's actually quite the opposite. I do want to do one of those ones, like start off an issue in the Savage Dragon miniseries manner, where, you know, first page, bam, splash, second page, bam. What do you mean second page? It's second and third page because it's a double page splash. But no, haven't gotten there yet, and man, I'm gonna have difficulty thinking of an issue where that'll be appropriate. Probably by issue 6. I do actually have an idea of where issue 6 is going to be in terms of the plot. Even if it has taken me, pretty much a year to get most of 2 issues done. I'm not drawing all the time. I am actually plotting a little bit in the meantime. I could see doing it there. Maybe in issue 5. As well, or 4, one of those, but like that's about it. The rest of the time I do, just kind of regular stuff, slow build, not necessarily the way you want to go with image type comics, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, we're gonna invite people to live streams and then make them watch lettering, all sorts of lettering, because that's exciting. And this is the Maxtremis speech as well. And I don't mean speech as in, her one big speech. No, this is how Maxtremis talks, where she goes on forever, because she's an alien diplomat. So 1, she's going to bloviate, and 2, she doesn't understand when it's socially, unacceptable to bloviate. But yeah, this is going to be one of the easier pages. It's largely heads and figures. The last page was kind of, man, I think that was one of the last tough ones, where, backgrounds, but also like weird angles and drawing tech and like, from here on out, it should be fairly simple. Like I'm working on page 17 right now, which was another one that got started on a live stream. And, like it feels like cheating a little bit, because it's just, like there's a panel, the top panel, panel 1, is like a long shot of some guy standing. That's the toughest panel I got. 2 and 3 are done. Panel 2 is just close up of the villain standing, and panel 3 is just a close up of Hawkstab's face. I'll do that all day. I think I did actually do that all day. But one of the things that doing the live stream kind of promotes is it tends to drive me towards being a little extra silly when I'm drawing this, I've noticed. Page 15 got there with like the signs and some of the shit the crowd was doing, because it's all a bit, right? And you're trying to be a little bit entertaining. So this one, you like get this guy doing wiggly fingers. I don't know if those wiggly fingers show up if nobody's watching, or his bolo tie, or fucking Goku going Super Saiyan next to him. I'm not sure what this guy's deal is. He seems very intense though. And this is the last I'll be working on this panel for a while. That's that's going to be the last panel that I draw, because it did still take me a little while to finish. But the live streams are really kind of catching me up, which is very nice. That and being on vacation this week. So, like right now it's Wednesday. I got a good shot at finishing page 17 today, and maybe getting a start on page 18 tomorrow. Maybe doing another live stream like midweek. We'll see. People showed up for a Monday one before. I get the feeling everybody works from home except me. I'm like one of the last people who has to go to a fucking office. Get a good pose of Hawkstab here. These poses are feeling a little bit looser. Maybe not stuff like this. It looks fine. It doesn't look too stiff exactly, but I don't know. Just it seems to be getting the hang of getting a fairly fluid pose. And then Maxtremus looking vacant as ever. And with one leg, one central leg. Yeah, I'll figure that leg out later, I guess. And then this was the like the wow factor panel. And I didn't even do blue lines until this point, because I knew there's the only lettering here was going to be somebody off panel yelling Maxtremus. And decided to go for pretty steep Dutch angle, like almost like 45 degrees. And again, some intense looks and all sorts of flexing. And get some foreshortening with the blades. Yeah, that's some fun shit. And this panel right here was going to be the rest of the live stream. This was probably about an hour in here, maybe an hour and a half. And I think I went for another 2.5 hours of just inking this shit. I'm pretty sure Hard is like a good 20 feet tall here. Thankfully, I don't think anybody's ever asked me how big Hard is, or maybe they have, and I just can't remember now. It's not really a question that works, because you know that's a question that needs context. It's like, well, how big is the panel? You know, how much room do I have to work with? That kind of helps to dictate how big Hard is at that given moment. And we're going to go right into inking Hawkstab here, because that's just tradition, and that's always the most fun thing to ink. Good stuff. Oh yeah, and getting the brush out. That actually, I feel like I'm maybe getting the hang of that a little, as in I'm starting to figure out the basics of that. Still get a little too sloppy sometimes. And I'm not anywhere near where I'm going to start doing fine lines with brushwork. That's like a good year or two off, maybe. But in terms of just getting some thick outlines that kind of taper a little, yeah, I can do that. And that's about as much, I think, as I really need from them at the moment. And this is the stuff I look back on, and it's just like, we're going like muscle by muscle, and just like, okay, now let's completely shade this muscle. Now, let's overshade it. How many more lines can I add before it starts becoming incomprehensible? Because incomprehensible muscles are death. You gotta take it right to the limit before it gets there. And we're keeping up the tradition of just, because I'm pretty sure these blades shouldn't be going quite that far. But if there's a chance for blades to go off panel, they're going to go off panel. That's just how it works. They're more of a design element at that point than an actual physical object. Working on my knuckles, because it's just, I don't know. I feel like those have been a little low definition, and we need to improve that. And yep, adding some extra pouches, some extra detail to the belt, because I feel like shots like this warrant it. Won't be for every shot, but when you're going for a cool shot where, you know, it's hyper focused and everything, yeah, you kind of want to do that. There we go. Shade every bump. Add extra bumps. This is the way. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that shoulder's on sideways. That's okay. Oh, we're talking about that? Okay. That was Blood Run. I forgot to cut that out. But I'm too deep into the commentary now. So that is a comic that I believe... So this would have been on the live stream, and we were talking about perspective a little bit. Yeah, I referenced a comic I worked on probably a couple of years ago now. I'm not sure exactly how long ago it was, to be honest. It might have been pre-pandemic, thinking about it. But yeah, all that stuff is up on my Patreon. If you want to check that out, there's some pretty good looking stuff there. That's not how... I don't know about those legs. Although this is page 15, correct? That left leg looks quite skinny. Or the right leg, rather. Left leg isn't too bad. I may need to go back and fix that, which is code for I'm going to forget about this as soon as I'm done with this commentary. Yeah, using the template for the circle thing, because I just can't do it freehand when it's close up. Not much, anyway. I've tried, and it turns into a wobbly mess. That looks okay, though. Oh, and I don't believe I addressed the fan here. Actually, there may be some background noise in this, and that is from a fan that is going right on me. It is summer, and I don't have AC at this point, anyway. So I'm gonna. It will persist for this commentary, and I'll listen back afterwards. If it's too much of a problem, I'll figure something else out for the next one. Even if it is just me sweating it out, it's gonna make the revisits a bit of a problem, though. And I do a bunch of those at a time. good stuff. I feel like I'm getting better at drawing fists, which is important. That's like vital. You got to be able to draw a fist from any given angle at any time. And since Hawkstab's getting his close up and he's being all fierce and intense, he's going to get some arm veins in this one. I'm going to try and attempt the hair now, I think. Yep. Actually penciling it out at first. That's good. Making it a little bit less wild than it was. Getting a little bit... The hair is getting a little bit more natural. Like, well, not natural looking. It's coming a bit more naturally to me to draw. It still looks kind of crazy, but I feel like this is an improvement over issue 1. Now I'm going to add in... Yeah, more determined. Yeah. Get that ponytail swinging. And not a whole lot to draw here for Fireburn. Just, you know, half of his chest and his head, that's about it. Got more of hard to draw than Fireburn, really. Yeah, I think that looks all right. I'm making a bit more of an effort with Fireburn's ponytail. And I think it's paying off a little bit. I like that shadow under the jaw there, too. That looks kind of naturalistic. Little things like that, just like, shadow under the jaw looks all right. I'm going to have to archive that and then never find it. Yes. This is going to be a little bit tough. Looks like I'm getting it on the first try. That looks about like the finished product. And we wanted to get some extra neck stretchies in there, so I'm actually remembering to pencil those in right off the bat. And I believe his pecs are, in fact, bigger than Hawkstab's, even though Hawkstab is quite a bit further in front. But yeah, given this angle, Hard should probably be at least 15 feet tall, maybe more like 20. Or he's floating. It's a little difficult to tell. Because I think I actually tried to figure out a little bit where the feet are. Yeah, because he's smaller. Like, his figure is smaller than Hawkstab's. Hawkstab's would actually extend down further. So this is, yeah, he's standing on shit. This is some classic Liefeld shit. Some nice cross-hatching on those shoulder pads. And again, trying to get a little bit of extra detail on these pouches. So it feels like they're getting a little too formulaic and a little too stripped down. So let's shake things up a little bit. This is the stuff I worry about. Is there enough detail on these pouches? Am I slacking on pouch detail? People are going to call me out for that shit. I don't think I've been called out once for anything. Which I super appreciate. But, like, you can totally call me. It's fine. Yeah, next stretchy. Come on, focus. I think I have a slightly better camera now. So hopefully the focus issues will be less of a problem. You may have noticed the microphone is also... we're minus all the hissing that we would usually get, all the distortion. This is page 15 with the crazy perspective and all that. Not perspective, angles. I'm not doing perspective on this shit. We're going to do some force perspective later on in this issue, I think. Because this is going to be the first real fight sequence. Issue 1 had kind of a crazy battle sequence that went on for, I don't know, 5 or 6 pages. But this one is Blood Force versus one dude. And I still want this to go on for at least 5 or 6 pages. So that one was a lot more hopping around to just, okay, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? Like for one panel, and then you move on. This is going to have to be a sequence of events, and I want it to be kind of crazy. So this is going to be interesting to plot out. And hopefully not, like, disappointing, where it's just like, that just turned into a regular fight. This one page here was like one big shot of hard punching. I mean, I might do that, but not unless I can make it cool looking. And so now we're done with the live stream, so there will be no more me showing stuff to the camera. This is just going to be drawing. But yeah, good intense shots of Hawkstab getting down to business. Because in the panel previous to this, Fireburn and Max Streamus are having a little conversation about, you know, they're having their little dare PSA about, like, what is racism? What is xenophobia? I don't understand. And now, yeah, Hawkstab's just like, okay, let's get down to business. And we're going to see Fireburn do an immediate transition to mean mugging. Max Streamus, not so much. She doesn't have that range of emotion, really. How those forearm tendons look? They're okay. They're not they're not really where I want them to be, but they're okay. I like the new pocket stuff. I gotta thank what's his name? Ken Ive, I think, Tegner, who did that version of Hawkstab on Twitter, which is another one that's up on my Patreon. And I don't know, I've got that thing on my board, and I feel like that's a constant challenge to step my game up. And I just flat out kind of stole some tricks for the pockets from him there. But it's mostly there for, just like, you know, this is where Hawkstab could be. You gotta get him there. I like all this abdominal stuff, though. This is all pretty good. The blades are a constant. I gotta work on it constantly to not make them a shortcut, because they do tend to cover a lot of whatever panel I'm working on. And I like these little cut-off areas in front of muscles, because then I just start filling that shit with folds. And just shading. Just adding extra, like, you know, like, I guess this is an extra muscle or tendon or something. It must be, right? Look at all the hatching on it. Yeah, and here's Fireburn, mean mugging. Yeah. Serious business. Yeah. I'm going to assume that's what it is, and not that he's just sulking because he got told off for talking to the pretty alien lady. That feels a little bit too petty. And like, I don't think that Fireburn has that kind of, I don't know, where he's going to be upset for being told off. You know, that's not really him. He's not aware enough of the moment. He'll get told off and he'll just be like, okay, and like, you know, wander off and make fire puns about something else. Pretty good. Trying to get that Scott Clark statuesque feeling with these guys. Straight on shots, lit from above, flexing everything, you know. Stiff as a board. Not gonna get those for the Dutch angle shots. You know, I don't recall too many Scott Clark. So like switching styles in between panels, it kind of happens a little bit, not too much. It's all, you know, according to my understanding of how to shade, basically, or how to build a figure. But you know, these kind of straight ahead shots, yeah, they're gonna slide a bit more into that Scott Clark thing. It looks nice, you know. And it is a little silly how we're all just standing here and frowning and flexing. And is that spotlight good, Gary? Is it a little more to... Yep, no, that's good. You can see the shadow under my nose and my eyes. And we're just gonna... I didn't feel like figuring out the perspective on hard here. I don't know if it's even possible. So we're just gonna put big old wall of abs behind them. I don't think this shot of hard really makes sense. But this particular panel was one that didn't need a background. And probably shouldn't have one, just because that would distract things a little bit. And hard has no bearing on it whatsoever. He's gotten his one line in for this page. For the next couple of pages, really. Hard doesn't have to talk a lot. He just has to, you know, get a dick joke in every once in a while, and then the rest of the time just be large in the background and take a swing at something. That's a lot of abs. On that one page, like so many abs. Or the one panel, rather. Keep doing that. And this was actually trying to soften up Max Streamus a little bit. Because, like, I don't know. Oh, I guess we're good enough to ink. I'm still not confident drawing a woman this close up. Or, you know, at all. And, like, you know, just figuring out which lines to put on. So I think I got the nose pretty good. The cheek is a bit overdone, I think. But the line isn't bad. And the one eye's a little bit smaller than the other. That's a shame. But I don't think I can do much about that. Not at this point. Sort of whiting out the bottom and trying again and maybe making it worse. So I think you just let it go and go on to the next page. That neck's a bit too thick. Oh, brighten it up. Going for a bit of a different treatment here with the boob plates. Doesn't look too bad, I don't think. Now we get like sympathetic Fireburn here, where he's all just like, yeah, that's tough, yeah. You see how glossy my ponytail is? Yeah, it's sympathetic too. It's a pretty good shot of him, though. It's not, like, based off anything. This is just, like, yeah, doodling. But, I think he looks pretty good there. Always enjoyed putting a facial expression in there that you don't usually see on a superhero. Or didn't usually see on a superhero in 1993. I have no idea what they do these days. And this guy's just so amped to be here. He's like floating. You should be able to see his shoes if they weren't covered up by Fireburn there. Oh, yeah, and here's Goku going Super Saiyan. Yep. And these all feel like they have the same kind of cartoony quality that I don't like on background guys, but I have difficulty figuring out sometimes how to keep it off them. It did kind of boil down to just getting a thicker outline in this case, I think. There's the wiggly fingers. Didn't end up looking too bad. That you can kind of tell us what they are. Yeah, a little bit crazy. Again, this is just... This mob is too intense. But I mean... That gets said at every mob, probably, right? Just the word mob implies too intense, probably. So I think we're going to go, yeah, we're going to go over some outlines here a little bit. Try and thicken it up. And this is a slightly different level of realism from the other guys because I'm not on the live stream anymore, so I don't have that thing of like, okay, make it goofy. And I did remember on this guy, background guys in a Liefeld book, you give them a half jacket. That's too tight. Thank you for coloring that in. Appreciate it. And some over-gelled hair. And yeah, that guy looks fine. Looks a little better than the other guys. It helps to have a bit of extra shadow in there. And another dude up here. I backed off his intensity a little bit. Decided he looked a little bit like a black guy, and since it's 1993 and this is Image Comics, I had to give him a flat top. That's rules. Again, too cartoony in the face, though. For what I'm going for, anyway. But sometimes it's hard to keep it out. And I think this guy has suspicions that these people are up to no good. Just like, wait a minute. This angry mob feels like it's getting unreasonable. And this is actually just random stuff in the background. I mean, it's obvious probably at this point, but I'm hoping in the finished product that if I hatch it at different rates, it looks just more like background clutter. And I think it kind of does. I think I'd have to plan it out a little bit more next time. But, yeah, it's something to think about. And I mean, you know, because the foreground figures get all the attention. And, you know, if you're paying attention at all, you might just be reading. You might just be skipping that panel because it's kind of boring. But we are trucking along. And getting to stuff that I didn't really think I would get to. when I plotted it out, you know. So the guy on the next page is Cyberzerk. He's the big enemy for this issue. And I'll be honest, when I wrote Cyberzerk, I was not expecting him to actually, I was not expecting to get to the point where I was actually drawing the fight between Blood Force and Cyberzerk. So actually getting there is kind of crazy, and I'm enjoying that quite a bit. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching that. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications, go and follow me on Twitter. But more importantly, go and subscribe on my Patreon. That's where this page and every other Blood Force page ends up, as well as my process stuff, including these videos before they go up on YouTube, as soon as they're uploaded onto the internet. And all of the stuff from when I was planning out Blood Force, when I was brainstorming it. There you go. That's a word. And look, there's a couple of extra stuff there now. I'm working on kind of adding stuff to the Patreon that's Patreon exclusive. So just to make it a little bit more fun, make it a bit more incentive to sign up. So go check that out. And yeah, once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.